and welcome to the Rivalz podcast, the podcast where two friends who are fans of rival teams talk about football. We're your hosts, Noah and Drew, and today we're going to talk about the NFC and AFC championship games.
Before we start, I'd just like to get into that the Rivalz podcast name comes from the fact that I'm a Packers fan and Noah is a Vikings fan. So we decided to have this idea to start a podcast.
And we love talking about football, so...
Yes.
Our topic today is NFC and AFC championship games. We've done a little bit of research, and we're going to talk about it.
So, to begin things off, we have the AFC championship, Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the Buffalo Bills in Arrowhead. And currently, Chiefs coming off a key win against the Browns without their quarterback Patrick Mahomes at the end. So it was a tough win, but they got the job done. And let's see, their offense has been playing lights out, ranks top 5 in total offense. 397 first downs this year in the regular season. That has showed that you can't stop Patrick Mahomes at most points. They're winning the turnover ratio +6. 6.3 yards per play. Can't get anything better than that. So is there anything you like to add on them now?
Yeah, they're just unstoppable, man. But as you guys probably know, Patrick Mahomes went down last week with a concussion, they say. He had to get taken out of the game, and with their backup QB in, the Browns almost sparked a comeback, but with a last-minute play, a risky call on 4th down to go for it, and they got it to move on. Now, we don't know if Patrick Mahomes will start next week, but it is probable that he will. So it really affects their offense if he doesn't start. Another person who is out is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is their rookie running back, who's been pretty good this season. He went down, I think, week.
Don't mean to interrupt, but yeah. So basically, adding on what you're saying, with Helaire gone, they're going to have issues because Le'Veon Bell, obviously, he was out of that period of time, hasn't exactly...
What was that, Drew? You're cutting out there. Okay, looks like we're having a bit of technical difficulties. It's fine, though.
Game going against this not great defense, who's mediocre.
Sorry about that, Drew, but you cut out after you said about Le'Veon Bell. What was that?
Yeah, sorry. Zoom. So, anyway, Le'Veon Bell, they need to establish a run game. He hasn't exactly been great since he's come back from the holdout for all that money. But if they're able to establish the run game that they haven't had since Helaire has been gone, that's what they're gonna need to beat the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills pretty tough team to beat. As they have a mediocre defense, ranked 16th in the league, and their offense is where they stand strong. As with Josh Allen, recently acquired Stephon Diggs in a trade from my Vikings, but they're gonna have. But both of these teams have very on and off run games. You don't really see much of them usually in the games. They're both pass-first offenses. Anything you'd like to add to that, Drew?
Nothing much. Just that. And if you want, you can go on even. Chiefs defense is mediocre as well. Not great. They have shown a better side to them than the Bills have. So that's something that they need and have established. So,
but you see, the Bills defense has sparks of greatness in their team. As like last week, they shut down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to advance on. As a lot of people thought that would be a big problem for the Bills. Their defense, lack of defense, and they proved that they don't need it, or they have it actually in them. So it's a very on and off defense.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Bills, obviously, defense ranking 16th in the league. So exactly mediocre in between of every other team. And something that could be problematic in this matchup is they're giving up touchdowns in 65% of red zone opportunities. Chiefs, they're scoring in nearly all, above average of any other NFL team of scoring in red zone opportunities.
Yeah, and another problem could be the Chiefs' defensive line. If they can get pressure on Josh Allen, that would be really that would be key to winning this game, as they have Chris Jones up front there leading the charge. They had 32 sacks this season, the Chiefs, and they're just a pretty good defensive season. Josh Allen does know how to get out of the pocket, but if the pocket collapses like that, you just don't know if he can handle it.
Exactly. No, so I mean, and this game could go either way. Honestly, Bills obviously haven't been back to the Super Bowl since 1994 when they had the four-peat of those four awful losses, one being very close on that missed field goal. But I mean, the Chiefs, runners-ups. I mean, not runners-up. Excuse me. Defending champs, trying to defend their crown. Will they be back? And who knows? But so it's going to come down to, can either team execute a run offense, and can the defenses get to the quarterback and not let them extend plays?
Well,
so, I mean,
I think it's time for our predictions.
Yes, exactly.
For me, I say my
final. You can go first.
Okay, my final prediction is the Bills winning 38-31. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think the Bills will be able to pull it out in the end.
Okay, I agree with you, partially, but I don't think it'll be as close, because if Mahomes is still a little banged up, obviously had the problem, the concussion, artery issue, but if the Bills are just, in my opinion, they're well coached, and if they can execute what they've been doing well this season, their third downs, their rushing attack that was good early in the season, not great the rest, then they can get through. And they need a pass rusher as well, not letting Mahomes extend plays. So my final score is 35-24.
Okay. Well, moving on to the NFC championship with the Packers and the Buccaneers.
Go Packers, yes. So let's start things off. We have the road team, the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay hasn't been to the playoffs in 13 years. Looking to come out with a bold statement this postseason after that absence. And it's looked that way so far. Obviously getting nearly a free pass against Washington and Taylor Heineke. And then last week, beating the Saints, who were heavily favored. So, I think the Buccaneers, they're a great team. Really good. Haven't been too fairly fond of what Bruce Arians has treated Brady, but at the same time, they have Tom Brady, so it doesn't matter. And they rank 5th in offense. They're averaging over 7 pass yards per play. What else? 42 touchdowns passing. That is so many compared to what they have been in recent years before this Brady era with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Jameis Paxton.
Exactly.
To Tom Brady, big steps. And another thing, when that game against the Saints, their defense was pretty dominant. To be honest, they had 4 takeaways that game. Devin White.
Saints tried to come back. They had the lead early, but then they gave it up and they couldn't really claw their way back. So, I mean, I see the Buccaneers winning this game if their pass game is great, because their run game with Ronald Jones being a little bit banged up won't be as great, and Fournette hasn't been too amazing this year. I think if their pass game is perfect, which it has been in some games, for example, the one against my Packers earlier this year.
Yes,
I think they will.
These two teams have faced off earlier in the year. Buccaneers got the best of it by a blowout, to be honest, but The Packers have changed since then. Their defense has improved a lot, and Rodgers just has been MVP season right now for Rodgers.
Yes, I agree. Being a Packers fan, I haven't been back to the Super Bowl since 2011. It's a dry spell. So, I honestly am hoping for the best. But
yeah,
issues with runs could affect them in the long term in this game. But I mean, they've been pretty darn good recently in games like holding Derrick Henry 98 yards. So
yes, in recent games, but you don't have to forget that earlier in that year, Dalvin Cook rushed for 200 yards against the Packers.
He did, but we don't need to get into that debate now.
All right, fine.
Changed.
But anyway, the Packers have it. They have amazing pass game. Rodgers to Adams, arguably one of the best connections in football. And I mean, they just can't be stopped sometimes. It's just their offense is so high powered, and Devontae Adams with his route running, he can just always seem to get open. You saw it against Jalen Ramsey this past game.
Putting him on skates. Yeah.
Yep, and even if they can't get their pass game going, their run game is also not even that bad. Aaron Jones, really great running back, quality running back to have on your team.
Yeah, he's shown to have a few sparks. And
yes, he has. You saw that 60-yard. If you watched the game, you saw a 60-yard run from him, or around 60 yards against the Rams.
And so, I mean, the Bucs defense versus this offense, that's really going to be a matchup.
It's going to be a great game.
It's going to be a good game, in my opinion. So, can the Packers get their D-line going? Their D-line and their rush defense? Because I think their pass game is pretty darn good for this. And can the Bucs get their run game or even pass game to perfect?
Ronald Jones,
Yeah. Can he pull through the injury to play like he has been this year? So, on to the picks. I'm going to be going with Packers 31-27.
Ooh, close game. As much as I hate to say it, as a Vikings fan, I'm also going to go with the Packers. The Packers, I just think they proved their offense is just really high-powered. It can't be stopped. They played against the number one defense in the league, the Rams, last week. Just dominated on the offensive end. And I think that's just going to continue into this game. I'm going to Packers. This time I'm going to go 28-21. So
both pretty close. And that's why I think both games will be pretty close with two.
Yeah, these are some good games to have as a...
Pretty even.
Yeah, good games to have as a...
That's just about going to wrap things up, but...
Yeah.
So the Bills will be taking on the Packers, in our opinion. But you guys can comment your thoughts and predictions. So
down below.
Thank you for watching.
We'll be responding to anyone who comments, or at least and we'll see you next time. Remember we post videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is our first episode. So we'll have our reactions next Monday to the game. See ya.
See you guys. Bye.